He came and I said, well, can you get whatever's out of my face? He says, shut up. I'm just going to take, he was like, just shut up. You woke me up and I'm just going to do it and take out whatever's in there. And he went and he just went and just sliced it right up, put some like painkiller on my foot and just sliced it up and just pulled it right out. And it took him 2 minutes. I was like, damn.
That's what I like.
When I was younger, I slipped on a non-slip mat and went into the base of a radiator. And if that's my toes, you know, your big toe, I like sliced down into my big toe. Like, it was I've done some mad things, but that's not why we're here. We were actually here. Sammy was going to ask Richard some questions, but we seem to have lost Sammy. And it takes his computer that fucking long to restart that we may have the show over by the time he comes back. But we will. Oh no! Proven wrong. And look at him coming back with a smug look and all. Like,
what happened there?
You tell me, man, with your 1997 computer. I don't know. You had some questions. You had some questions for Richard.
That's impressive. 97?
Man, I've got a 1995. I have two towers behind me. Stop touching your mic, Sammy.
You've got something good on there.
Yeah, you have electrical feedback. Wiggle your wire.
I'm not doing that.
There you go. It's stopped now.
Right. I'll took the phone away. Go ahead.
That's what it was. Must have been the phone. You had some questions for Richard just before we went live and we lost you. You wanted to get a clarification on what Richard's belief system was, I think it was.
Yeah, just in my terms, sort of tell me what is your belief?
Okay, so the easiest thing to do is refer to something you already know. So I'm going to refer to Christianity.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that Christians have a traditional view that I don't accept. However, I do accept the Bible. All right. So I have to call myself a follower of Yahweh and a follower of Christ. So technically that's a Christian.
Yeah.
You know. However, I don't agree with the things Christians say about the Bible, and that makes me look not Christian. If that made sense.
No, I got the opposite. I thought you were. I'm going to put it. If I say it wrong, I'm sorry. I put you as an atheist before a Christian, but
he's a heretic.
Right. No, sorry.
He's a heretic.
Yeah,
that would be a
heretic.
That would be a little bit.
Sense?
I would say that that's probably a wee bit of old school mind thought. If you're not a Christian, you're an atheist, and I know that your background would be Christian, and you do believe to a certain point as well, Sammy. So, you know, he's not an atheist; he's a heretic. Would probably be better for you to understand.
Let me give you an example of that, Sambo.
He's sticking with the Sambo.
Let's say for
yeah, he is. Yeah, thank you.
It was his suggestion.
Yeah, thanks.
For instance, I believe that the resurrection of Jesus Christ does happen, okay, and his actual flesh that was killed is brought back to life, okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's a technological claim, saying that they know our bodies, those in heaven, know our bodies in like a biological way that we don't even understand yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think it involves any magic or any supernatural events. But is to be taken literally just the same. What's that?
Yeah. No, I agree. 100%. Yeah.
It's another thing, slightly off topic, Richard. Possibly for Series 5, actual book. There is an actual book, or I'll see if we can get a summary or a video where somebody does a breakdown. There is a book series, which I may read again. I'm on book 7 of The Expanse at the minute. It's called The Atlantis Gene, right? I think I may have mentioned this to you before. It is about a race of people, a race of humans who, as you have described, have completely figured out our biological body. They can live for as long as they want. They even have the ability, if you die, your memories can be downloaded and put into a new body, and you can know, if you fell off a cliff and your head got chopped off, boom, you got another one. And what they do as a race is send groups of people out, more expeditions, more so than a giant spaceship or whatever. It's a small expedition of 5 or 6 people, and what they do is they find a primitive race on a planet, and they implant them with a gene. And there is a piece of technology that will trigger this gene every time they get close enough. So they then bury themselves in their ship, in their in their cryostasis, in the earth, and over a period of maybe 5 or 10,000 years, they'd pop up and go, how's everything going? Right, well, we'll maybe switch it on for a wee while here and help them evolve and get them going more closer to us. And then they get back to sleep again, And there is 3 books. It's more detailed than that. And you don't actually find that out to the second book, so spoiler alert. But
too late now.
Too late now, we're fucked. No one's gonna. But would you be interested in reading?
Is that coming up on your screen as well, is it?
Would you be interested in going through something like that, Richard? If I could find a shortened version, I wouldn't expect anyone to sit here and listen to us read 500 books.
Okay, so I just heard 3 different religions simultaneously when you said those things. Okay, you've got the idea of forced evolution. That's kind of Zachariah Sitchin-ish, something like that.
I wouldn't say forced evolution. It's not forced. It's literally the evolution of the planet goes forth as it's, it's.
No, I meant the beings themselves, not the planet itself.
Okay, yes, sorry, go on ahead.
Forced evolution of the beings that are selected. That's a Zachariah Sitchin idea. Perfection in a utopian society. That's the Atlantis idea there. Yeah, I can see that easily. And what was the third major idea? That they intervene on a regular basis. Okay, so kind of terraforming, but terraforming species forming with regular interventions.
Okay, well, I'm getting from you that you're not up for this. So spoiler alert. Here's book.
I don't think it's a religion.
No. It's more about the evolution and the intervening of, aliens and stuff like that. It's an interesting read. Anyway, spoiler alert for 3. This, the reason they're doing this is because there is a robotic race out there from a being that was created, a robot race, this AI race that is wiping out all of biological life. So they're trying to find a biological species that's immune to this attack that the AI is using. That's why they're doing this.
It's very Promethean, that idea. I mean, the reason that Prometheus has his liver eaten out by an eagle of Zeus is because at the time in that culture, they thought of the liver as the source of your emotions. So to have your liver constantly eaten means you're never going to achieve emotion.
I was going to say something there.
So that the idea of like a robot mind or a hive mind without emotion, or something like the Borg, something like that.
Well, if you're playing statistics and shit like that, there's more chance of us interacting with artificial life, because as life biologically does create, it does exist and then die off. How long is the fucking universe? 14 billion years old and some change, it's
sure.
Yeah, so civilizations, considering we're 200,000 years old from start to finish, we're only 30.
Why?
Pardon?
Why?
Okay, I'm going mainstream here for a minute, Richard, right? I'm saying, okay, if the universe is as old as it is, and considering our point of view that we evolved here from Homo habilis right up through Homo erectus to where we are now, we're 200,000 to 1.2 million years, depending on where you want to slam down modern human or hominoid species. Anyway, life can destroy itself very handy. There's meteorites, there's lots of things that can do that. If a species got to the point where they could create AI and send it out going looking, as we do, only not as very well tacked, we send probes to Mars and things like that. If you give that, which we are hoping to do, the ability
Right.
to reproduce, maybe not itself, we're hoping to give it the ability to reproduce buildings and make other things. But if AI gets to that level where it can go out and reproduce itself, once the species gets wiped out, the AI can just keep going. If 1 makes 4, and 4 makes 16, and 16 makes fucking... I've lost track.
32.
No, we're multiplying
No,
in multiples of
16
4.
times 4 would not
Oh.
be
No, it's 40 and then another fucking 24. It's 64.
20s.
Yeah.
64.
It would propagate through the universe quicker. It would propagate, it would
Sure.
last, you know. There's statistically more chance of us interacting with it. But then again, the statistic chances of life is 1. So and we're here. So numbers mean nothing. Sammy,
almost. Except
any
they
more
do.
questions for Richard that's not me rambling?
I was about to ask one, but I forgot all about it. But
Also,
that whole alien thing, there's, you said it on the live as well. It made me think different.
would you like to describe your
I
belief?
think it's
Sorry?
Would you like to describe your belief system, Sambo? And a shout out to everybody in the chat that's turned up. You know, we've got
Yes. Well,
Maria. Is that Maria, the lady that I have been talking to on WhatsApp? It may be. I don't know. Maria is new. Hello Maya. Hello Titan. Hello Bree. Who else have we got? That's it. We've only got 7 people. But thanks everybody for coming. Thanks everybody for turning up. If anybody would like to join, let me see. Have I still got it saved? Yeah, we go. There's the link. We'll take a chance if anybody would like to join and come on in.
no disrespect to Geo, but most of us know Geo well enough, and Sambo is new.
Sambo is new.
So Sambo, do you have a stance on religion? If so, do you have an identifying like specific church? And even within that, is there anything within that church you disagree with in principle that you vary from most people in that church in any way?
It's 4 levels deeper than it needs to be, man. It's Northern Ireland.
right. Robbie, break that down then, and I'll say it.
Sambo, Sergeant Sam, whatever you. No, Marie, we didn't talk on WhatsApp, sadly. Sorry. Well, Marie's the Wiccan that I'm looking to talk, hoping to talk to this Thursday or next Thursday, which is why I thought.
Or one of the Maries is anyway.
Hi, anyway, Marie. Thank you for joining. If you'd like to join the panel, come on in. We've got loads of spots. I can hold up to 10 people. Sammy, Sambo, Sergeant Sam would be raised in a Christian environment. Sammy would be a Protestant over a Catholic. Not that that matters anywhere else, but it does in Northern Ireland. Sammy also, fair play to Sammy, his last job was defending the Queen. So he would be very British and coming from that sort of a background, which with the army and things I would say would be very Christian. It would be based in our God and shit like that. So I would say Sammy is a religious person to the point where he believes there's something higher, isn't sure what it is, and knowing Sammy, I would probably describe him as a deist.
Thanks, Robert.
Is that all agreeable? Is that good?
He doesn't understand half of what I just said.
I do. Yes, I agree.
A deist, right?
Yes, the last thing you said, I don't know what that is.
A deist would be someone who believes in a higher power, but would not necessarily say that they are Christian or spiritual, or, you know, you could be spiritual if you wanted to be. But a deist would be, there's more than likely something more powerful than me.
Okay.
You just don't know what it is.
With the caveat that it doesn't seem to change things as it exists. Our universe as we know it seems to remain the same, and that higher power is not changing things all the time.
Yeah.
Somebody just watches, doesn't actually interact.
Right.
God's up there just, on his PS2 and every now and again hits the CCTV and goes, nah! And then goes back to his PS3 and PS5. What are we at now? 6? Fuck, I don't know.
No, he's got a PS10. I'm sorry.
PS Extreme. He fucking made it himself.
He's got a PS Extreme. It doesn't even exist. It won't exist here for another billion years. But
here, Robbie.
A billion?
I'm
Yes.
just kidding. Could be a billion. Who knows?
Yes.
I see deer.
I see 2 deer.
I don't think. I
I
had the
see.
T-shirt design and everything.
Yeah, well, you're spelling it wrong and you've got the phrase wrong, so throw that design out.
I'm not going to work on
Is
So,
it spelled
Sambo,
D? It's spelled DEER?
Deer. DEER. Hunting deer. I see 2
Not
deer.
What would I spell? Like John Deere?
I haven't a fucking
That's the
clue.
same.
That's
You're asking me what we're...
DEERE.
Isn't it the same?
So, have you any other questions for Richard to get clarification on where Richard stands?
No, I'm not going to embarrass myself any more than I.
Could I ask you a couple questions?
Of course you can. Of course.
Okay. Now this doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a little bit messy. That's fine. I'm just trying to understand where your stance is, where you feel what you feel is true. Could
Just
you give
in the way
at least a
Robbie-
loose definition for what the word God means in your opinion? Not in a general way, but in a specific way to you.
Ooh.
Are you ready for some rambling?
That's fine.
Just,
Whatever
Robbie,
style,
Just go for it.
just go
I
for it.
don't- Yeah, just. Damn.
You'd like me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. God is a set of social standards, like a constitution or a set of laws that govern living beings who believe that that is the most important thing.
I was just about to say that. That was in my head. I just couldn't get it out.
Oh yeah.
No, I was thinking something similar. It's something. No, I think it's something where. Right, I'll say how it is. I think it's something that we're meant to believe in to make everybody get on. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, it's
No,
a
that's
sort.
good.
Religion, you would be saying that religion would be more of a social construct or social group, some sort of a community that gives everybody strength from being together.
And stop fighting. And yes, yeah,
It's a creation of a tribe.
yep.
I totally love that idea, that mindset about what you just expressed there. That's really, I think it's accurate, by the way. And the only problem that we have right now is some groups of us disagree with others about what is the most important things.
Yeah.
I.e., they have different gods.
Yeah.
I see the same thing. That was really good. Thank you.
Richard's other name for his channel, sort of slash name, side name for the channel, is Demolish Doctrine, as in destroy the church, sort of, bring down this whole constitutional, or not constitutional, sort of, pillar of community, one thing of a church, it's rip it down and God's everywhere. Why go to a brick building? That's what my ma says.
That's true. And Richard, I love coming on a Tuesday night and watching you two talk. It's brilliant.
Who? On what channel?
Now you're trying to
Robbie.
confuse him.
Explain there.
No, he's just saying Tuesday shows, me and you on Tuesday. He's been enjoying the shows.
Oh yeah.
I would recommend,
you.
man, on your
I
free
enjoy
time,
it.
see when you're walking around work and you're fucking doing nothing in the storeroom, put on the playlists are there. Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, Series 4. Series 3, I have to admit now, towards the end, after doing it for nearly a year, I was more frustrated and we were knocking heads, which is why there's a break between 3 and 4. I think we were both
Is this
getting-
Revolutions?
Yes. No, not Revelations.
Uh,
The series is
yeah,
called A History of. So it's
Yes.
Richard's version of A History of. This
Okay.
series is Revelations. The previous one was Gilgamesh, Enoch before that, and David and Goliath.
But I mean, this one is mental. It's,
This is actually no.
as you do know.
Oh no. And
This is
all
the hardest one.
Geo,
This is
you've
the hardest
watched.
one to understand that we've done. The
Right.
rest of them are simpler.
I personally think that me and you are getting through this. It might be our rapport. It might be the fact that I'm starting to see,
No, it's brilliant seeing you two doing that. See you two at it. Brilliant.
There's been.
And
I quite like the David and Goliath one because it was breaking down. It was also us trying to get to know each other a wee bit more, and it was all. The second one, I think we laughed unbelievably, and then the third one, I think towards the end when there was like 6 fucking Jesuses, I just lost the rag. It was like there's too many Jesus Jesuit fucking nuts, and we needed to take a break. Which was what?
But the same thing exists in the Bible, several Jesuses.
We're not fucking
So that shouldn't
alien
be a problem.
overlords. But Geo,
no,
that's
seriously,
right,
that's one of the most used to at each other's, and then it's
I would
brilliant.
assume that
Funny.
Geo has seen maybe not all the series in every episode, but you've been around Geo, yeah? You've seen me and
Yeah, I've seen most of the series that you guys put together, and I just started watching the series that you're putting together today.
Well, ignoring this series and knowing the relationship and friendship, or as Mac called it last week, watching the bromance blossom is hilarious. What do you think of the shows? Have you seen a better rapport, or what is your opinion on the shows from an outsider? And again, we all know your bias. Me and Richard mainly know your bias.
Well, I think you guys work well together, and you both complement each other in different ways. You add MathPig. You add a lot to the mix, which is
50%.
great. Well, some people would just let Richard sit there and read the whole thing and not make any commentary at all. But at least you do that, which brings another more depth to the program, I think. Because it shows that you're actually interested. You're not just letting Richard read things without any cause,
100%.
Well, Richard thrives off that as well. I think Richard wants to be better. That's one thing I've noticed about Richard. Again, sorry to talk about you in the third person, Richard, as if you're here. I know you're not. But it's one thing I find about Richard is he loves that blazer. He loves his red beard, right? But he's a genuine good person who wants to improve his beliefs, right? You meet an awful lot of Christians online, and hold on, there's the link in the chat. Sorry, there you are. Let's form. Richard wants to hone down his experience. Hone down experience is maybe a bad word. Through experience, hone down his belief system. So, like somebody who wants to be the best hunter in the world, using the I see 2 deer analogy again, is going to go out and going to fucking spend lots of time hunting. Spelled correctly. They're going to spend a lot of time in the fucking forest, the savannas, wherever the fuck the deers are. They're going to be hunting them out. They're going to be practicing. They're going to be spending their fucking time. And they will only know that when they, that first time when there's a very high wind and they shoot and they miss by 2 foot because the fucking wind caught it at long distance, they're going to know next time to go this way. That's Richard's response. Richard wants you to ask him questions. Richard wants you to do this because, if I can say, Richard, other than his job, this is Richard's life. This consumes Richard's brain a lot. Now, that may be because he's insane. That may be because he's senile and old. Regardless, it consumes him. So other than paying the fucking bills and keeping a roof above his head, this is what he wants to do. And he wants to make sure that it's fucking right. And I find that rare in the Christian community. I find that very hard to find, that someone is willing to sit there and take a slamming because the only thing out of it that they will get better at is how to approach it next time. And I've rambled on long enough, and I think, Sambo, that's about the best description I can give of Richard that I could.
Well,
I was
Peace
gonna
and
say
respect,
something.
Richard. Peace and
No,
respect.
no, he's like
Oh, that
The Dave-
sexy motherfucker.
no,
Hey.
no, he's like the David Attenborough of stream.
Oh, there you go, Richard. You
There
say
you go,
things
there
about
you
your
go.
voice. You're as good as David Attenborough. David Attenborough talking about the lions, and you talking Revelation.
I know who that is.
Everybody knows David Attenborough.
You don't know who David Attenborough is. David Attenborough is the
Who
most.
said that?
Pardon?
Everybody here knows who David Attenborough is, right?
Yes.
I don't.
Sure do.
Oh, okay. Geo doesn't.
David Attenborough is the most famous voice for talking about live animals. You know, these had fossils named after him. He's a
Oh yeah. I do know him.
So there's a comparison. Richard worries about his voice, and Sambo just compared you to David Attenborough.
Fantastic.
So,
That's why I like the
I
show.
just joke about it.
I agree.
Hello.
Bree, have you met Sam? Okay, right. This is really confusing because there's another fucking Sam. You know GEOSAM, right?
I know Geo.
This is Sergeant Sam, or as of tonight, because he's had a bottle and a half of wine, he's going by Sambo, right? This is
Sambo.
Sambo. I work with
Put your hand
Sambo.
up. No, Sam, sorry.
Sammy works, the other Sammy, this one with a headset. Oh, fuck me. The one that you don't
I'm
know,
not- no.
he works with me.
No,
I'm talking to Bree. Shut your mouth. I'm
I'm
introducing
the
you.
other night.
I actually don't know in either of these gentlemen down here on the bottom with me, I don't believe.
That's what I was going to say. Let's Farm was one of the head moderators on Discord for Modern Day Debate whenever I used to own the server. And then James, being the wanker that he is, sorry James, it's just the way it is. I left, and I left Let's Farm and another guy in charge, and shit went down, and now Let's Farm owns Modern Day Debate Discord and is running it the way he wants. So the Discord's better than the channel. Check out the
It is.
Discord.
Yeah, it's my Discord.
Hey, fucking my Discord. Man, I'm gonna send you the fucking video link. There's one that I have, and do you know the Matrix 2, where there's or is it the Matrix 3, where he's in the train station, and there's that scene where he walks out and Neo tries to take the guy on, and he's like, "I made this place. Down here, I'm God." I have that saved under. People give me shit in Discord. It's like, watch that video. Shut your mouth.
So modern day debate Discord. How big of a Discord server is that? How many people are in there?
A little over 1,500 right now.
1,500. That's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, well, when it was handed to me, there were about 650.
650.
Yeah, 650, and now it's over 1,500.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it doubled nearly.
It's big enough that we keep getting hit with bots and trolls, so that's fun.
It's not a
Oh.
dumpster fire though, like the debates have turned into.
We do our best to keep it civil in there.
At the end of the day, the problem I had with it, and one of the reasons, other than the personal issues I had with James, is you have to be a representation of James. To a certain extent, you have to allow for the fact that certain things that James wants must be allowed, because at the end of the day, it is a representation. Now, I haven't been in the Discord. I won't go back into it out of principle. I've had this conversation with Let's Farm. It's nothing against
It's fine.
him. It's just,
It's fine.
you know, that particular person can go. But anyway, back to Richard. Richard.
Yes, please. Back to Richard.
Let's Farm. Have you met Richard before? Or have you talked to Richard before?
I have not met Richard or talked to Richard before. Although that is an
I caught
epic
you on
beard.
Cannon Wars the other day.
Well, thank you.
And respect for your beard as well. Thanks for admitting that you puked. That's awesome.
Let's Farm fucking won. I couldn't get over that, right? Because Savage texted me like 2 days before it. I'm having trouble getting the team. Do you know anyone who's up for it? So I reached out to a few people I knew. I'd already been through Twitter, and Let's Farm and Geo would be on the list of Discord. So jump over to Discord, send them, and they both come back, and I'm like, right, can you be in Savage's team? And then I fucking lose. So I basically picked both teams, and I picked the losing team.
What's that say about you?
No, I've only won one episode, and if I'm being desperately honest, it's because I slightly cheated. All right,
I wasn't picking one of them.
Whenever you're doing the drawn thing, right? you're allowed to put down a straight line for each word. So if it's a 3-word phrase that you're trying to draw, you're allowed to draw 3 words, right? And I was doing 1 word, and I was an ass, and I put down the fucking letters. So everybody knew how many fucking 6 lines for 6 letters in the word, and I slightly cheated, ever so slightly. And it's the only reason I won. And it's, Savage, sorry, Savage. But...
Well, whoever
Bree
picked
looks
those
like
questions,
they're ready to kick butt tonight.
Hmm?
I said Bree looks like they're ready to kick butt tonight.
I'm
You know,
loving the
dark
blue
glasses
Matrix,
and all
so I
that.
had to put my cool glasses on.
Can I ask,
Right.
and I understand that the plants that are in the aquariums or terrariums or whatever they're called, the glass boxes, them plants may be alive for people to eat or they may be fake. The plants what would be back to your right, raise a hand, raise your right hand. Yeah, are they real?
No, that's a fake tree.
I have a fig tree in my house also.
Easier to water.
I got lots of real plants upstairs, but yeah, this down I'm in a basement. There's no.
Funny.
I have a plant light down here because I did have some cactuses and stuff when I had my locust in the container. I had it under that so that it would grow and it would grow its own grass too. But that locust, they only live for so many months, so it died. And then I took the cactuses back outside, and yeah.
I got.
Well, Bree, can I ask a question? You have a fig tree in your house.
Yes.
Does yours smell like cat piss?
No.
Do you own a cat?
My cat is not pissing on my fig tree, but my
If you
But
own a
my-
cat and
I-
your tree smells
Oh,
like
wait,
cat piss, she may
I
be
don't
doing
have
it
a
when you're
male. I don't have a male cat, and this smells like male cat piss.
not- 2 questions. What's the difference between male and female cat piss, and how do you know?
There's a very strong smell
Okay,
to
let's.
male
Okay,
cat
you really
piss.
actually do know that. Okay, no joke. I don't know.
There's pheromones in there, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
it's not. The fig tree is not a really strong odor of cat piss, but if you get close to
Let's
it, like
not
rub a
talk
leaf
about
or something,
cat
you're like,
piss.
holy shit.
Let's not. That's here. But talking about trees and stuff, I got Elena a STEM kit, a green scientist, like a climate change sort of fucking science kit where you can do experiments, but it's basically just planting seeds and doing pH things and stuff, So she planted all the seeds that came with it. I couldn't tell you what the fuck they are because she ripped the packet up into bits before I even got the fucking seed. Soil absolutely everywhere. She got up about an hour before me. She had already started. The living room was destroyed. Soil everywhere. And she planted all the seeds. The ones that she did leave in my house, she'd put in a dirty jar. She'd put in a jam jar, right? And she'd used it earlier for milk, So the plants and the seeds, they died, all right? You've no drainage, you've no fuck all, the plants are going to die. So they died. And then last week, she still had soil that came with it. It's like a wee mini compost thing, and labels and all that crack. And she'd found my fucking weed seeds, and she planted my weed seeds. Now, the weeds, these are just seeds that came. Sometimes when you get weed and you grind it up, you get a wee seed in it. I would put them in a wee glass thing here in the studio. And you've seeds in your room, Daddy, so I planted them. And she planted them in a Duplo thing. Do you know what Duplo is? It's like giant Lego.
Duplo blocks.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
a 4-long pink Duplo box, and she'd put the fucking compost in it. And she'd put all the fucking weed seeds in it. And then I was like, right, well, they're going to die. So I drilled holes in the bottom and I've put them in like a bowl so that they've always got water coming up to them. And 2 of them sprouted. One of them looks upside down. One looks like the roots coming up. Do you know when a seed opens? It's the seed that comes up and becomes the leaves.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Well, it's
When,
sort of
when a cannabis seed splits open at the pointy end, the root comes out, turns 90 degrees, and heads straight down.
Right. Well, the
As
root...
it comes up, it pops that seed husk off.
Right. But it's the leaves inside the husk.
I think that's what
Yes.
he was referring to when it pops that.
Yeah.
It goes
Yeah.
above the soil and then pops the.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Well, there's one that's come
Okay.
up. It's about that size. It's got 6 leaves on it now. They're all wee tiny leaves, and all. And then there's the other one, which the root is going up. The root is about 2 centimeters now, going straight up, and the seed husk is just sitting there, and it's starting to go white and looks like it's getting a wee bit moldy. So I don't know what.
perhaps you should flip it over.
I did. It didn't work. It flipped itself around. The damn thing is, man. There's seeds that come
It's
from.
retarded.
You got a retarded one. It doesn't understand gravity.
She must have planted
Too much
the point.
hybridization.
At the point of it is, she just was so excited. I come down. There's fucking signs. She was like, "I found some seeds, Daddy. Where'd you find the seeds? In your studio. Planted them." I was like, but one of them is out of like 10 that she put in. There's one that's now like this size, and I haven't a fucking clue what it is.
So you're allowed to grow stuff in Ireland?
No, this would be edited and turned off and not allowed. But it's in my
good.
It's in the kitchen window in a little bowl. I'll take a picture, Geo, and send it to you.
Send it to me too.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. Why not?
Little itsy bitsy. Well, it's actually maybe about 4 inches or so now. So Richard, where would you like to take the conversation? Would you like to slam down into the angels and the revelations? I think a better description of where the message is coming from, who the message is being physically voiced to, and that particular person, who that message is going out to through the analogies of the churches. I think, if you could describe that a wee bit better, it wouldn't have been good for the episode because we're going through literature, but I think a better description of the actual timeline, no, that's not a better word, bump, right? So
Storyline?
who's got the message, who's receiving the message, where's the message being told through, and who's supposed to actually well, we know most of it, but if you could break down the timeline, I think timeline would be a good one.
Chronological order.
Chronological order. Thank you, fucking Geo. This is why we have you about. That and the fact you look like that wrestler.
No, I don't.
Which wrestler?
I
The
don't know.
first thing
What's the name?
Sammy, the first thing
don't know.
Sammy said when he joined was, what was it, Sammy? Who does he look like?
Oh, you're muted.
Sambo. Who does GeoSam look like?
Some wrestler. I don't know.
You're gonna
I don't
make me
remember
look
the
up. It's gonna be quicker just to look up my fucking history.
Sorry.
I think it begins with
Yeah,
an H.
Goldberg.
Oh, Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Does anybody want to see Sam walking? This is what Sam looks like when he walks out of the shower, right? Is that it?
I wish.
Right. Sorry, Bree, you're iconed at the minute, so I'm just going to take you off for 1 second.
I don't look like that. Come on, people, look.
Shake,
You
you
do
got to
kinda
get the
look like
goatee
that.
though.
There you go. That's what Sammy looks like when he's coming out of the shower. Everybody,
You kind of look like that dude.
I'm not that muscular. My face, maybe.
You got too much hair, but
Jeez,
other than
gee.
that, yeah.
Gee, Sam, you work out.
I haven't worked out in 20 some odd years.
So
They call him GeoSam because he's the size of the planet.
Richard, if you could break down in chronological order, thank you very much, GeoSam, the actual order of where the message is coming from. It may be necessary to mention previous Earths just to give all context as you could, but it's a story that's already happened. People are going to ask you, where's the story happened? So, if you could break down in chronological order, starting from the beginning.
Okay. I'm not going to go to the actual beginning or address the infinite regress problem, but it appears that at least what we're reading here is a recollection, a very, very brief the very, very brief beginning of, okay, this is the situation you're in. That's like the beginning of Genesis. And then from there, all of it is talking about the time of the end of a planet, which we would call an Earth. Okay? Where there are human beings there were human beings like us, and they did the same crap that we're doing right now, and they needed their butts saved, just like we're about to destroy the planet. We need our butts saved for probably the same reasons. We made a lot of bad decisions, and now it gets to be too late at some point. We can't fix it. But they've delivered this story of the end of their planet somewhere mid along our time on this planet, depending on which people you're talking about, which tribes. And they did it in such a way that it looks like fairy tale form stories, but that's so people can have some freedom about it. They have some choice whether or not they believe it. And then the time comes when those same beings come to this earth en masse, which they've never been in great numbers here before. They've done a lot of stuff to the planet, but they've never arrived like the whole society at one time. So they arrive all at one time, which is literally like trillions of angels compared to our billions of people. And they basically have given us these fairy tales so that when they do certain things, the fairy tales will make sense, kind of a in the moment decoder ring kind of thing. Now, that's the message to the general populace, the overall story of the fairy tales. But then there's the details in the story that don't seem to like work well, and it seems like nobody could possibly do it except for the hero of the story. So angels, having written the Bible in an ascended state, having just been ascended, speaking from recent memory of the end of their earth, write these religious stories so that the next religious leader, whatever his name is, you could call him Thor, Buddha, you could call him Jesus, call him whatever you want, would be able to understand that and be able to do his job without having to like pray for 20 years to figure it all out from scratch.
How-to guide.
It's a how-to guide. Yeah, it's an instruction manual. Which is
Uh,
why there's war tactics, there's avoiding medical problems, there's
would
just
you
all
be able
kinds of stuff in there.
I don't know, because I was looking at Bree had to leave. I don't see the live chat, so I was tweeting Bree. But can I ask, did you mention where the first one came from?
The first one, what, Bible?
The first Jesus, the actual story of how
The first Jesus came from. Well, Jesus being an idea set of things that should be done.
Okay, maybe I worded this wrong. There is a story of a race creating someone better than them and he escaped or something.
Right. That's the story of the Pharaoh and of Moses. And there's some detail aside from that in the story of Joseph.
But that is representational of your belief system. It's an...
Sure.
Did I not... I was under the belief that you told me once, now I'm closing my eyes because I'm trying to remember here, but did you not tell me that there was a race of beings that created, another being, like the hominids, the humans?
Yeah, they were making slaves.
They were making slaves, yes. And they created one that escaped or was better or was... Could you elaborate?
The problem was it was too smart. It was smarter than the master of that society and smarter than their scientists. Which the scientists wanted to make the thing smarter, but I think they accidentally made it a lot too smart.
Right. So this the apprentice outlived the master. It became smarter, so to speak.
Well, outclassed, but didn't outlive.
Outlived was a bad word. I do apologize. Weed, it's lovely.
So this is the idea of Pharaoh, an ancient godlike being who's in charge of an entire race of beings, and that whole race of being have slaves.
Mm-hmm.
But then when Moses grows up, he barely understands that he came from the slaves. You'd think that'd be obvious if you were exactly the same animal. But he doesn't look so much like the master class. He looks more like the slave class, but he doesn't even realize that till he's an adult.
Okay. If you could jump back again. So we're using the reference of Moses. So he's growing up in your story as well. This created being, this slave.
Right.
Is that smart and also has been adopted by them? Like the story of Moses, yes? And doesn't realize, even though he doesn't look like them. So a bonobo monkey hanging around with a load of gorillas, just thinking, I'm a skinny gorilla.
Right. Something like that.
not realizing that all the bonobo monkeys that are running around as slaves, okay, I might look a little bit like them, but no, I'm just a skinny one of these. He doesn't realize
See,
that.
I think the reason that went on so long into an intelligent thing's adulthood is because some of the genetic material comes from the scientists themselves, i.e. Pharaoh and the Egyptians, that they donated some of their genetic material. So
Demolition
he
Man.
was a lot like them.
Demolition Man. He took out the fucking silly material and he put in his own stuff, so you look like Pharaoh. Yeah, I get you.
So that's why the Bible reads, man has this potential to do evil or to be without or ignore their own emotions or not be sensitive and loving to others.
Is because
that's why the text refers to this ability.
Right. So, okay.
Because we are partly of Satan.
Satan being the pharaohs.
Yeah, Pharaoh representing Satan. Like the actual being.
So let me get this right. Okay, I know that No, Fabio, Richard is not making this theology off on the fly. This is why I want you two to have a conversation. Richard, like, this, I've known Richard for like 3 years, all right? I'm just slamming it down for the audience here. So there is a race of beings that are probably for a long period of time.
They had to evolve in a very naturalistic process. There's no story about someone interfering with their genetics.
Right. So this particular race of beings evolved on their planet originally. Right?
Yeah.
They got to the point where they're 200 years ahead of us with genetic manipulation, and they are creating a slave race to do their bidding.
Sure, we're probably about 200 years away from like genetic manipulation.
Oh, arbitrary number. Arbitrary number.
Easily.
Arbitrary number.
No, but probably. No, it's fine.
Relativistic? Is that even a word? Relativistic? I'm saying
relativistically.
That word. I still can't say it. I'm fucking it up, right? Anyway, right? So they create a race of beings, a slave race. Okay.
Well, they didn't completely create them. They altered what they had available from their natural environment that occurred through evolution.
Right. So if we are making a comparison,
this is why we're related to monkeys and apes and stuff.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. So making a comparative analogy, particularly maybe their Earth, on our Earth, we say that all these other different hominids were wiped out. They may have survived with a Neanderthals or a Homo habilis. There may have been something like that around, so they tweaked with their genes on that planet to make a slave race. But what they did is,
I would assume that they were using what we would call proto-man or ancient man. They were already using them as slaves on their planet and thought, well, this thing's not quite great as a slave. I want to fix this.
Right. So they put, say for talk's sake, a virus into this particular genome that would increase brain size. And it slightly got out of control, right? So they've created ultimate CRISPR and they've put it in. And CRISPR's been tweaking around, making the brain smarter. And over evolutionary times, with generations, because it was man-influenced, it happened quicker than natural selection. And this particular...
Intelligently influenced, yes.
Yes, this particular race of beings then became smarter, overtook the actual creators.
Well, first it grew up and it behaved itself really well, and it got put in charge.
No, but the race is a species. He wasn't the very first one, was he? Like they went tweaked, and then instantly it was Jesus. I'm expecting a period of time where it went from we've tweaked you, and your brain's smarter, and everything's good. You're now hoovering the floor and making me dinner, and then a few generations went by, and then the first Jesus arrived.
What you just said is there was Adam, and then several generations later comes Jesus.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Right. So the first Homo sapien, the same thing we are right now, with the same abilities, would be called Adam, the first man, which is why he's called Adam, which means red in the face, like red of the soil. Okay. But what makes a human being different from other animals and able to turn red in the face is its emotional states. You can get overheated and turn red and whatever, sunburn, whatever.
You're talking
but
embarrassment.
The weird thing about
You're talking
us,
embarrassment. we flush our cheeks due to embarrassment.
Sure.
That's what you're
one of
talking
the
about.
reasons. There's other reasons. There's other reasons people's face turn flush, but that's certainly a good example.
I'm saying just our faces turn red as an embarrassment. Embarrassment is an emotion. It's a physical sign that we are showing emotion. That's why
Some people are born with conditions of the skin
where they can't.
Yeah, well, where they can't produce that reaction, and also there's
interesting
people who have just a ruddy complexion all the time. Anyway, so.
Yeah, this camera's not lying to you. I'm a really pink person.
That's the green screen and the tie. But right, let me just.
No, I'm just really pink, and in pictures compared to other humans, I'm really.
This
pink.
particular Jesus, after a few generations, all right. If I can, I'm going to alternate between Moses and Jesus and Pharaoh and trying to reference you, yeah.
Right.
So this new Jesus, this Moses, this particular person has now realized, and he's going to free the slaves. So we're saying that the Exodus did happen, but not on this planet, which is why there's no archaeological evidence for it. The Exodus, that Exodus was from one planet to another.
Well, they left a planet and became space travelers permanently housed. That's what Ark of Gopherwood means, container of permanent housing. That's a literal translation of those words.
They
became permanently not on a planet.
Right. So this is what I'm thinking. Yes, this is the there's a few shows I could reference. Stargate, fucking Atlantis. There was a particular race that never landed on the ship.
We have these ideas around.
You know, you've got the Belters in Expanse who literally need 12 months of fucking exposure through drugs so they can walk on a planet because they've lived in space their entire time. You know, that will happen. So they're now a space-faring race, and only a space-faring race. So that says to me that Jesus won, which we're going to call Moses now from now on. Is that okay, Richard? If I can say Moses is Jesus won?
First Jesus? Moses doesn't. Okay, it depends on which part of the story of Moses you're referring to and how you think of Moses, whether or not I can agree.
Okay, well, you're saying that Moses in the story of our Bible is the first Jesus, so the Exodus happens.
If we're talking about Moses growing up under Pharaoh, cool, I'm good.
And Rob, MathPig, you forgot about the behemoth in Expanse. It had rotational gravity, so they did have gravity in space.
But still, it was all over rather than pointed down. You know, it helped their blood systems go, but we're not even going to get into the fucking Expanse. We can't spoil it because Dave's only, I don't know, Dave's asleep now, but Dave's just about to hit, I think it's Series 4 or Series 3 he started yesterday. Anyway, regardless, don't knock me off my track, right? I'm just don't just fucking...
Sorry.
Right? So,
okay, Moses
they stole a spaceship. No, hold on. They stole a spaceship.
The first Jesus.
Moses. Yeah. We're going to call Moses the first Jesus, the guy that stole the spaceship and freedom.
The need for Jesus comes later once they start seeding planets. There's no need at first for a Jesus idea.
Okay, I understand that, and I will 100%. So the person who escaped from the original planet, we are going to call Moses.
Okay, fine.
The original teacher, the first person, Moses. Are we happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good.
So Moses helps all the other people, and he runs into the military compound and rips it all down, and he fucking jumps in the giant spaceship that's a colonization ship.
And stole it.
And obviously found the fucking keys up under the visor. Way on the fuck. Out he goes.
And had all the slaves borrow from their neighbors with no intent to return. That is theft.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. That's like your guy in Armageddon goes to the loan
Took
shop.
a bunch of materials with them that didn't belong to them.
Can I borrow $100,000? And then goes to the fucking meteorite and rides a missile because he ain't coming back. But,
right.
Yeah, GEOSAM knows. GEOSAM remembers. Anyway, right. So steals this colonization ship. Right. So he's then floating through space for X amount of time. Do we have a time period?
Let's say running away from Pharaoh.
Running away from Pharaoh. Pharaoh is also synonymous.
That's accurate.
Pharaoh is also synonymous with devil, Satan, the bad guy. Yes?
Yeah. It's the bad guy in the story, yeah.
Okay. So,
Which the bad guy isn't really a bad guy. He just doesn't understand what we are.
Look at this. If the stream was a starship, would MathPig be the chief engineer, or do we specifically need a
Apparently.
Scottish person for that? I'm Scottish descent.
He's already Scotty, right?
Yeah.
It's perfect.
We can't do it, Captain. We don't even have the power. Although he never said that. That's only in the song. Anyway, moving on. Steals the colonization. One ship. That big motherfucker behind you. Right? The one that looks like a
the
cube.
main one.
Yeah, the one that looks like a cube with the 2, 4, 6, 8 lines coming out of it. Yeah.
Well, it's not a cube, it's a sphere, and there's things underneath of it that you're looking past to see the sphere. I'm sorry, I'm a bad artist.
Oh, no. It's very cube-like from this position. It looks like it's a cube with 4 circles in the corner and a circle in the middle. It's very cube-like.
I'm like a weatherman pointing at a screen. I can't see the thing, actually. This is a circle. This is the outside perimeter of a sphere. It's bigger than the planet, according to the measurements given in the text.
Yeah. Also, O'Brien.
It's bigger than the Earth.
Clout, O'Brien over Scotty any day. Also, when he went to Deep Space Nine, so good. Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek. Anyone else can go fight me in that. Go fuckers. Right, so you've got your colonization ship moving through space for what? 1 generation, 2 generations. Do these people live like we do? Or are these... Because the people who created them lived forever, do their slaves live for long periods of time?
Yeah, the flesh is apparently made to not die of old age. They don't have the telomere problem that we have. And where it says we're quote unquote made a little lower than angels, I think that's what it's referring to, because it says our lifespan will be less than 130 years. That's how we're lower than angels.
Right, so we are limited.
Yeah, we are limited.
This
Pretty
guy,
cool, but limited.
This guy's floating through space on his colonization ship, and he decides then to do the same as them to a certain extent, where he seeds an Earth. Would that be correct?
I didn't understand the phrase "same as them."
Would they created slave species and they genetically modified another species? They are maybe not creating slaves, but they are genetically interfering with the
Oh yeah.
Yes, so
but it's their own genetics that they're interfering with.
Right. So what do you mean by their own genetics? So they're literally...
Like, we're literally stunted angels.
Did they have a base on our planet? Because we are related to everything on our planet, we can be proven that genetically.
Sure,
right?
Absolutely.
So did they take animals? Are we talking Noah as well? When they left in this colonization ship, was there elephants and 2 deer? Was there 2 deer in the back in the back seat of the colonization ship as well?
Actually, it says 14 and 4 is what are taken.
There is. So the reason that we are related to all the genetic material on our planet is because that colonization ship brought it with them.
Right.
So if I can make a reference back to Star Trek again in the movies, we're going to talk the Genesis Project. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Right on. Yes, I do.
Brilliant. Right. So that colonization ship had a Genesis Project on it. Yeah?
Right.
Now, we then wake up our being, our humanoid species, it just wakes up. Adam, our version of Adam and Eve just like wakes up, or is there evolution that happens? Is evolution on our planet guided? Did they seed everything, or did they just go poof with the Genesis Project? Because the Genesis Project is pretty poof, except for animals.
Yeah. It's sci-fi magic, but still the same principle idea. Okay. What is claimed in the story is there were plants before there were in the earth. That is to say, like living full-grown tomatoes, right? In heaven, not yet on the planet at all, because the planet wouldn't be able to support tomatoes or people at that point.
Technically, animals came first.
If you want to say gut tube in a singular-celled animal or a singular cell life form qualifies as an animal, sure.
I'm quoting Forrest Valakai. He said it the other day because it's down to the basic definition. Yes, but I'm being a technical asshole.
Now you're talking about single-celled animals
I'm
with
being
and
an
without
asshole.
residue.
Go on the fuck. Go on. I'm being an asshole.
Okay, and we're not sure if they're plants or animals, and that's still in debate. But anyway,
The point of the question is, what I'm asking is, did they put all this genetic material, right? And I'm gonna sound like a fucking.
I was going to answer.
Okay, go on ahead.
Most of the evolutionary process that we see evident on this planet happened somewhere else. But there's been samples of everything that happened somewhere else here, which is why there are gaps in the fossil record, because those animals never lived. Because those animals never lived, yes, there are. Because those animals never lived here to leave bones behind. However, there still is the epigenetic process where part of the total genome does adjust to its environment over time, or selective breeding, selective pressures. So we do see little differences. It's totally explainable.
Right. So, original question is, ignoring abiogenesis, because according to yourself, abiogenesis didn't
Happen somewhere else.
happen somewhere else. I'm talking this planet. When I make reference to everything I'm saying going forward, I'm talking this planet only, right? Going from your point of view, abiogenesis didn't happen here. What I'm asking was, did they put down a bacteria, a fungi, these different basic things with all this information, and were we as secular people are looking at it and seeing that the information is getting smaller and smaller and wound down, and evolution happens, and we progressively, chromosome 2 is a good example, bringing this all down, and we're getting exactly where we are, less information but better beings. All that information, you're basically, it sounds like young earth creationism, with all the genetic information there, and it's guided evolution. Is that what you're saying has happened on this planet to a point? Not 100%, because obviously, as you pointed out, evolution, natural selection, things around us. So we have absorbed some things from this planet, but 90% guided evolution.
Time, yeah, except for I think the chromosome 2 fusion happened under Satan's scientists, i.e. Elohim.
Satan is Elohim.
I mean, the story claims we put an atmosphere there. We put oceans there next. Next, we put simple plants and animals. You could say bacteria and stuff like that. The archaea.
Archaea, yeah.
And that starts to break down. That would be like a natural process that you need to do. Start breaking down the minerals and rocks before you put more complex, say, blue-green algae. And then you could start to put like certain animals and plants and so repeat the process that naturally happened before.
Right. So what we would see as this begets this begets this. You're saying they aimed for this, so they did that. So we would say A begets B begets C, where you're saying C was the goal, so we did A first, so we could get B, so we could get C.
Right on. Now, the only objection that I've heard to that from Christians, this is a very Christian thing to say, but it's not a very biblical thing to say. We are super special. We're the coolest thing ever. We're God's only children.
I'm trying my best not to shout out puddle. I just want to scream puddle and alien.
It is puddle. It is. It's totally the puddle. Neatly fits the hole that it is in. The water just perfectly outlines it. It's amazing.
I'm being facetious. I'm being a wee bit facetious, but you can see where I'm.
You're right. It annoys the piss out of me when they do that. Okay, so we tend to be very nearsighted, probably because our lack of technology.
No. I'm applying the point. If I can, right? I think you misinterrupted me. I was slightly insulting you, not in Christians. The fact that C was the goal, and we did A to get B to get C. That's the puddle argument. It was created for us. I'm slightly digging at you, not at the Christians.
Oh no, that's fine too. That's fine too. I'm talking about what the text claims of itself.
Yes, but do you understand where I'm coming from? The idea that our environment and you can see where I'm coming from. Yes.
The puddle.
Okay.
You know the puddle analogy?
Oh,
I think I do that.
Oh, he gets it, but he thinks Christians do say it. But I'm also applying it to you ever so slightly, Richard. If you can see where I'm coming from, the puddle analogy, to a point, is the universe is created for us, right? The idea that C
I don't believe that at all.
The idea that C is the goal, and we do A and B. We are creating. There's influence there. That's all I was inferring. It's now been discussed that much that it's lost all point. And it was an off-the-cuff comment that just went woo everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think there's a religious text on the planet claiming that our kind, including Adam, call him Moses if you will, created all of existence everywhere, but only changed this planet where his kind of animal can live.
No, I would believe, personally, from my point of view, the size of the fucking universe, the length of time that it's out there, the amount of planets and this, that, and the other, there's definitely Earth planets out there. There's life-supporting planets out there. There's life. Sure. Check out Europa. In the next 5 or 6 years, we're sending one out there.
We're gonna go check it out. Yeah.
There is a possibility. Life is. Can't remember the name of the experiment. Square, heat water, put in basic compounds, and they left it for like fucking 6 days. And when they come back, it was sludgy because through an electric charge and basic compounds they find it volcanic under the water, it created amino acids. Chemicals automatically.
Are you talking about Yuri Miller, 1950-ish?
I can't. Yuri Miller.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Yuri Miller.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Chemical compounds and stuff like that. We're talking abiogenesis. Sorry, I'm rambling. It's getting late. We're going to be rounding up soon. Mac is here. Mac, if you're free, do you want to jump in? Richard, you've got people waiting on your channel, just so you know.
I already redated it, and I apologize deeply to them.
Did you redate it correctly? Should I check?
I made it for like 2 weeks in the future.
I'm going to check, Richard, and let's see if Richard texts properly. Let's do it live. Everybody want to see Richard tech live?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, right. Well, for this, you only get me and Richard. You lose everyone else, but we're going to check out Richard live. Did we get an alert for Richard? No. Let's check out Richard. Oh, Richard Dawkins comes up before fucking Richard Madsen. That's awful for fucking YouTube. That's not, I do not look up fucking Richard Dawkins.
That's not very surprising, I'm afraid, yeah.
I'm going to look like I look up. Oh, Madsen, that's son.
That's correct. S-E-N. Did you have any thoughts? Let's farm while he's busy.
No, you're correct. You are correct. You have said it for the 23rd of the 2nd at 12:30. You are correct. There is 3 people waiting. I will post the link to this live chat. Share, copy.
Please do.
What are you doing today on the show, Richard?
I'm not doing anything today. There was scheduled a conversation with Cryptomaria, but Crypto had to cancel for unknown reasons to me.
Oh, okay.
But since it was their idea, I'm assuming they actually wanted the talk. So
I'm sitting here listening to you and MathPig talk and thinking about how much it would drive the Jehovah's Witness that came to my house for over a year. Man, this conversation would have drove him nuts.
Feel free to use it.
I wish I would. Well, if he comes back, I will. Yeah.
I mean, here's a line of logic for you.
Fuck me.
God never lived on this planet. God is intelligent. God acts on reality. That's the definition of an alien.
Yeah, he's an extraterrestrial. I said that. Extraterrestrial just means not of Earth.
Right.
What is like when people come to you, Richard, right? And they've listened to you for a wee while. I know that you interact with a few people in the community that you don't get along with, right? And I know that they would.
I want to.
I know that you want to. I know, but there's a few people in the community that you would that would rib you, if you understand. That would.
Yeah, sure.
deliberately push you in certain things, right?
Sure.
What do you say to those particular people with that attitude that come at you and go, this is ancient aliens?
Well, let me. I have to go to like some kind of specific person to do that, I guess. The best arguments I've heard probably were from Robert M. Price, who said unnecessary complexity when it could just be the ancient Near East and there was a thing that happened. Okay. And men wrote a thing that happened. But then my reply to that, and I look forward to a future conversation again because I really enjoyed him the first time. My reply to that is, if something has more explanatory power than it raises questions, it's not unnecessary complexity. Where the story actually describes a set of events and how exactly they will happen, that has more explanatory power than it raises questions by quite a bit. So it has value that way.
I feel that you didn't answer the question. It's like I'm saying.
Maybe I don't understand it.
We have at the minute, we've got Ancient Aliens, the series. What are they at? Fucking 15 or something now, you know?
I think it's more than that.
At least 15.
I don't watch it.
Yeah.
At least 15. I have Amazon Prime and they're up to 12, you know? It's like, there's an awful lot of Ancient Aliens. I have heard things like you mentioned earlier when I talked about this book, Atlantis Gene. That sounds very Stitching. And then not 20 minutes ago, you were talking about an alien race creating slaves. That sounds very Stitching. You know, so there's similarities there. I've heard, we made an analogy between the Genesis device and creating another world. You know, the idea of fucking, what do you call that movie? Bloody damn thing, brain fart, Independence Day. You know, coming and stealing our minerals. You know, these ideas are reciprocal. These ideas repeat themselves. The idea of the ancient aliens, you know, there's the whole human need to, you know, especially in older times, you know, whenever they can't figure shit out, for them to apply it to another being, you know. And I understand looking back at this and looking back at these that you have your interpretation. I know you don't like that word, you know, but it's your view, your way of looking.
I've adopted it. It seems to work for me.
I know that you can logically prove in your mind that it's ancient aliens, but what would be your retort when people say to you, I don't, like, you could talk to them. It's taken me 3 years to get to the point to understand you. You know, a lot of people aren't going to fucking do that. And they come at you, and if they ask you to give this basic story, which we just went through, that sounds very ancient alien-y. I'm throwing it out to the panel.
Sure.
Am I wrong? I'm throwing it out to the audience. I'm not wrong.
It literally is ancient aliens. The only retort I have is, yeah, but they're ancient human aliens. Which explains why they even give a crap. Where other aliens have no reason to really be interested in an ancient civilization, can't even get out of their own damn solar system.
That's not any harder to believe than just ancient aliens.
Right.
It's just, it's ancient aliens with more steps. So I quote Robert Price, why make it fucking more complicated, Richard?
Well, I tell you what, if someone has a more plausible view of what these stories could be saying, a more consistent view, a more correspondent view, I would hear it, but I don't know of one.
Well,
I
contest that. I'd like to say that there's no reason to even contemplate that from this book. But you want to do that, you can do that. I mean, you could take another book, you could take other books and interpret them and just make them fit whatever story you want.
In saying that, I think at last time I looked up, it was 30,000 plus different denominations of Christianity, which by my understanding means that there's 30,000 different views on how to take the Bible. Now, 90% of them may align. 90% of them may align, but there is at least 10% of a difference. That's why there's 30,000 and not one. Richard's just 30,001. He's the one that 90% disagrees with, and 10% aligns with. It's just a different denomination. The fact that it's so extreme makes, you know, I can take any book and this, that, and the other. But there is 30,000, last time I checked, as to say, plus different denominations of Christianity. Richard's just the 30,001.
Here's why I think what I'm saying is different. There's nothing irrational or implausible about human beings alive somewhere else, able to travel here.
It's all possible. Okay. And it's all technological possible. And because life finds a way, I will agree that there's a possibility of life out there. The fact that your belief system relies more so on the physical, I know we fought over this during the show, but the physical entity of an alien rather than the supernatural of a god.
Right.
It gives it more explanatory power. It gives it more, yes, I literally can't say to you that I disagree that life exists out there. I can't. I just don't, because I don't believe it. The numbers say no, the actual time scale, it just, Fermi paradox and all that crack. I can't disagree with you. But if someone come up to me and said, my statue of the Virgin Mary outside's crying because it's a miracle, I can fucking disagree with that.
Yeah, I'll disagree with that right away. I'm going to look for tubes inside the statue when it was poured.
I think there was one where the monkeys used to piss on something and they used to drink the fucking water, and it turned out... bugs. It was bugs. It was bugs that lived in a tree and they were pissing on something and they were fucking drinking it or whatever, and it turns out it was bugs in a tree. But
oh my gosh.
Oh, unreal. Right. On bugs in a tree, people are waiting for you to go live. So if anyone wants to go live over in Richards, I'm going to round up here because it's getting late. And I've got work in the morning.
Oh, you want to close this down then? Okay.
I want to go on too, man. It's nearly 2 in the morning for me here, so I have to get up for work at 7. So.
Okay.
When the hell do you sleep?
I doze after work for 2 hours, and then I doze before I go to work. I doze after work for 2, and I doze before work for 3. So it gives me 5 hours a day, which is good. Like. Naps, man. Power naps. Power naps is the way to go. So
get to be me and Sam and Richard's age.
That's it, man. I've been an insomniac since I was 11. This is just my sleep pattern now. I don't know.
I'm afraid I'm actually about the same way he is.
Yeah.
Really?
I do about 5 hours a day. It's hell for me to get that 5 hours. It's really difficult to go to sleep.
Well, I get about 6 a day, but I missed the other 2 that I should have.
You're supposed to get 8?
I'm supposed to get 8.
I would guarantee you at least once a week I go one night without sleep. At least once a week. One night, just full through. And it gets to about half 5.
For me, it's about every 10 days.
Yeah, I get to about half 5 after doing everything I'm supposed to do and trying to calm down. And it's like, why go to bed at half 5? I have to get up at fucking 7 and you go and do something else.
But that next night I can sleep really easy.
And then the next night I'd usually come home, and instead of going and having the 2-hour doze, the 2-hour doze turns into a 4.5-hour doze. And then you wake up and you're up all night. And then you do the whole fucking thing all over again.
Your 10-day one night with no sleep is the same as my intermittent fasting schedule every 10 days.
All right.
Did that for a while. I did
body,
fasting every Sunday for a wee while.
I've been feeling better. Got rid of some arthritis type symptoms I was getting, and I feel better.
Good.
Did you lose a few pounds too?
Oh no, I can't afford that. I'm already thin. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Richard. I don't know if you're going to go live in yours or whatever you're doing or whatever.
I'm going to go talk to him and apologize all over myself for something.
Actually, I'm just looking. It says one person is there and I'm there. So I think everybody caught on. And
that's you. Yeah. Okay, they caught on. Good.
So they all caught on. So it's up to yourself, Richard, what you want to do.
Let's farm. You didn't get to speak very much, but I caught you on Canon Wars. I appreciate your wit. And just like everyone else that I think would have an honest conversation anytime you like.
I would most definitely have an honest conversation with you. Like I said, I had this Jehovah's Witness that came to my house for over a year, and not once did I like laugh at him or try to make. I listened. I let him speak his piece, and I asked questions.
Yeah, good. That's what I want to do too.
I have a
when I'm
memory
learning
when I was about 11. I wouldn't even have been 11, maybe younger. And there was Jehovah Witnesses came to my auntie and uncle's door, and they invited them in. And my auntie and uncle, don't get me wrong now, are born again Christians. And the last time I went out for a fucking dinner with them, my uncle denied being the first person to ever give me alcohol. Totally blacked it out. He's born again Christian. He's wonderful and great and doesn't do any sin now. But I remember them coming in and arguing with Jehovah Witnesses to the point that Jehovah Witnesses were like, right, we have a few other places to go, so we're going to, you know. Oh, madness. Right, so on that.
There's something principally funny to me about being a Jehovah's Witness, because they believe that 144,000 receive a reward, and there's more than people in their church numbering 144,000.
Oh yeah.
So
oh yeah.
what if I'm a better JW than you? Aren't you kind of like giving me up your spot?
Yeah. So Jehovah Witnesses are cunts and don't give up anything, selfish bastards. Richard, I don't know.
Strange bunch, but I will give the one credit. One day when he came, I was out in my lawn. We were enlarging our garden, and we had hit a really big rock, and he helped me move it. So,
did you give him a cup of tea and a nice fresh lemonade, some buns?
not even.
Oh, you selfish bastard!
Bottle of water.
Bottle. Well, you give him something. You give him something. So, right on that.
Once had a full bird. No, I got to finish this one now. Once had a full bird colonel help me change a tire.
Wow.
All
Nice.
right. Was he in the uniform?
I had.
Oh yeah, we were on duty. He was in uniform, not Class A's. He was in his fatigues, but
I had a blowout on the motorway at 70 mile an hour and controlled the car, got into the hard shoulder, and a load of cars went past. One man stopped and give me a hand. Like the tire exploded. It was wrapped around the axle and everything. And I put the spur on, but there were still bits of it wrapped up around the axle. And we drove to the local like home base taxis, you know, where I could get some pliers to fucking cut this bastard and thing off. And I went into the shop to get a pair of pliers so I could cut the rest of the rubber and the steel off. And when I came back out, the man who had shown us where the local place was, he had left the Jehovah Witness fucking New Testament Bible with the girlfriend at the time. And he was like, oh. I was like, for fuck's sake, the only good people out there are fucking Christians? That's disgraceful. Right.
it's not true.
No, it's not
Well,
true.
I heard a story.
No more
story.
stories. I need to go to bed.
Well, it's about a Bible thief who was a Christian who went around to hotels stealing Bibles, but he didn't call it theft.
If
I
the Bibles were put by the Gideons intend you to take them. Please do.
I did.
That's the intent.
Twice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
but
Gideons put them there so people will have one to take with them.
Yep.
I asked a Gideon.
I finally met a Gideon when I was 51. Never met one before that.
Right, I'm going to fucking bed. Everybody, think for
All right, good
yourselves.
night.
Check out
Good night,
Richard.
Rob.
Check out Richard. Check out GeoSam. Let's Farms fucking Discord. Check it all out.
Thanks, Geo. Thanks, Let's
Peace,
Farm.
guys.
Love you all.
Nice
Peace
talking to you,
out.
Richard.
Bye. Where the fucking... I keep forgetting to put the outro at the bottom with the fucking...